a second speaker who will have to talk about the counterpoint. And in the spirit of fairness, I'm going to be trying to call on newer members to do the first part, since that's slightly easier. You'll get a very direct question, yes or no. Please don't try to give yourself a third choice and like go away from this prompt. Like, try to pick one of the two choices that I give you. You'll have 1 to 2 minutes to respond, supporting that position, whichever one you get to take. And then once you're done, I'm going to call up on someone else to do the rebuttal part. So that person is going to be more of a senior member of the group, because this is slightly harder. You're going to have to argue the point, which you may or may not agree with, against whatever that person just talked about. So try to really commit to the point, whatever point it is you're trying to make, and be very direct in terms of choosing one. The first question is going to Asher, and it is going to be about open door office policy. Is it distracting or is it useful? Is it good or is it bad? Imagine you're a manager. Which would you prefer? Or if you're an employee, or if you're an executive, and what would you want your lower level managers to have?
This reminds me, when I was a child, I had a room of my own, and there was an adjoining bathroom, and I just had this fixation that the door always had to be closed. And it gave me a little bit of uncertainty, pause, stress when I see doors open in places that are private. I feel like doors should be closed. And then I started working, and I realized that this was very common, that you have to have an open door. And even in past jobs, I was required to have my door open at all times unless I was doing something that required the door be closed. But despite that change, I'm amenable to the closed door policy. I think there are certain times where you need to be able to concentrate and not have any interruptions. You could be shutting off your computer, shutting off your cell phone, and closing your door is a part of that. You won't see people walking by. It's a natural inclination to wonder, oh, who's that walking by? So I would allow doors to be closed. Maybe it depends on what you're working on, or you can have a door handle notice that says you can come into my office or you can't, and just have it by default that you can come into the office. But I think you need to give people that possibility of deep concentration and solitude to have their door closed.
All right, so if I understood correctly, you are arguing for the closed door policy.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
As chosen by the resident of the office or room.
Okay, so to argue for the open door policy, we're going to have Mr. Kyle Levine.
Open door policy is way off the charts more preferable to closed door policy because one, it's allows for open communication. It allows for trust to flow through your organization, showing that you are always willing to meet the concerns or the questions that your team has is really the way to go. If you have the closed door policy, you say, I'm too busy for you, I've got my own things going on, and you guys aren't really important to me. There's a really great example of this that I've read about is that Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook, he taunts he says that here's my office. It's just a desk. I work with everybody else. Yes, I'm the CEO of the company, but I don't have a special space. He even has shown on Facebook where he holds his meetings in glass, fully all four sides glass meeting rooms, so that everybody can see who he's meeting with and what he's talking about. And that really, I feel, gives his company and everybody that he works for the feeling of togetherness, oneness, and acting together as a team, and that we're all in this together. So open door policy is the way to go.
Thank you very much. Awesome. All right, second question. The first part is going to be going to Sarah. And we are going to be discussing whether it's better to have a car that has 2 doors or 4 doors. Which would you like to drive? What is more fun? What is more practical? What is more important? What's safer? What's cheaper? Anything that you would like to throw out in terms of that? Pick a side, 2-door or 4-door car.
Four-door all the way. I like to drive and be in control, and some of my friends are not the safest drivers. Some I definitely would not get in a car with if they were driving. So I would like to have 4 doors so I can seat a lot of my friends. Also, if we were ever to get into an accident, the people in the back of a 2-door would have to wait for someone to open up the door, move the seat. This way, with 4 doors, they can just hop out. I feel like there's more protection. Generally, you're a bigger car that's on the road. You know, my dream car, my Jeep Wrangler, SUV body style, all black. Like, I've been considering, like, well, do I want to get a 2-door? It's cheaper, it's an expensive car. But no, I like the 4 doors. And it allows for moving. You have more space. You have a lot more options. You can fold it down. You can put more, carry a lot of more things in your car. So 4 doors are more practical.
All right, and arguing against the motion, Ms. Atia Reed Brown. Tell us why 2-door cars are the way to go.
2-door all the way. Now, true enough, I have a 4-door, but if it was a perfect world, in reality, I would have like 4 cars. Why? Because who doesn't need a 2-door? Who doesn't want a 2-door that you can just jump in by yourself, take off, speed down the road, less weight, all that, we just go. In a perfect world, I would have 4 cars. I would have the 4-door for all the reasons that you said. Everyone can just jump in easily, the kids, shopping, forget all the rest, just shopping, right? If the trunk's already full, I need the back seat for my additional bags. I would also have a truck with a bed, so when I go to IKEA and I want to pick up something, I can just throw it in. So I'm gonna say definitely, we all need a 2-door. We need it for date night. We need it to look cool. We need it for whatever things you want to say, but I'm actually going to take it a step further and say, in a real world, we all need a 4-car garage. Then we can have each of the cars that we really want. I would have my 2-door sports car, I would have my 4-door sedan, I would have my SUV, and I would have my open bed truck. That's it.
That was totally cheating and going against my instructions of not taking the 3rd side, but okay. We'll let you slip that time. All right, the next question is going to be going to Wes. And the question is, indoor sports or outdoor sports? Which are more entertaining, more fun, more competitive, healthier, more adaptable to the weather, safer, whichever way you want to go, indoor or outdoor sports?
We're going to talk about manly sports because that's what sports is about, I think. Obviously, you want to go outdoor. You want some elements. You don't want, oh, hey, I want it to be 72 degrees and everybody please whisper while I'm serving my, whatever. No, let's have some action. You can yell and scream outside and I think you can smoke your cigar. Well, I don't know, some places whatever. And I think it just allows more freedom. You can get some sun, get your tan on while you're enjoying the game. Nice. Or you can find some shade, whatever the case, but you do have some options outdoors. Indoors, let's say you're in an area that maybe they don't have great weather. I'm thinking of, I grew up in Minnesota, they have this Metrodome. In the summer, who wants to go indoors in this miserable place and watch a baseball game when they have some of the rare good weather of the year sitting right outside? I don't think people are made to be indoors. You like sitting indoors all day at your desk, or do you feel good when you leave at the end of the day and you go outside, you got the sun and the wind and all that stuff? I think we're made more as outdoor creatures, at least most of us I think are still of that persuasion. As far as the types of activities, yeah, I suppose indoors maybe allows for some things that outdoors doesn't, but really, if you factor in all the things, you can do your tailgating or whatever. You don't tailgate and then go into an indoor, I don't know, arena or whatever. You ever see that at the Lakers? Not really. Just I don't think it just works as well as an overall experience.
And to present the counterpoint to that argument is going to be Ms. Teresa.
Thank you for that question, Mr. Toastmaster, Table Topics Master, Jack of all trades today. Who wants to be outside exercising? The weather may not be good. I don't want the sun beating down on me. I don't need a tan.
Well, not fair.
It may be cold. I want to feel comfortable. If it's cold, rainy, snowy, who wants to be outside? I say indoors is the way to go at all times. First of all, you get the fresh smell of everyone else's sweat. You don't have to worry about the sun beating down on you. You don't have to worry about the weather. You can relax. You can stay as long as you want, because outside it may get too hot. You can only be out there a certain period of time. It may get too cold. You can only be out there a certain period of time, because even once you warm up, by the time you warm up, your time's up. You have to, it's time to quit. But inside, basketball, they don't play basketball outside, and that is the sport. Basketball, that is the sport to see, to play, to enjoy. Inside, you have all of your equipment, you have other groups, it's more close-knit. Inside. Outside, no way.
Teresa, I definitely agree with you that basketball is the sport to enjoy.
That's not absolutely.
All right, the next question is going to be going to Sean. And the question involves, is chivalry dead? In the usual convention of things, we are expected that men open doors for women. Men do certain things for women that they could probably do themselves. But as of late, there's been a rising tide of questions whether or not this is still a custom, a practice that's alive and thriving, or is it dying? And should it be dying, or should we be going back to those olden times? So Sean, is chivalry dead?
All right, thank you for that question. I'm gonna lay it down the line right now. Chivalry is definitely not dead. If you want to be, I guess in the United States still, if you want to have good results, you need to be a gentleman. You need to open doors. Whenever I go on a date, I always pay for the meal. Doesn't matter. If I go like on a gun shooting range with my date, I pay for the whole thing, even though it's like $200.
Right.
I found that women have other things to pay or contribute, so all I have to do is pony up my money, I guess, for that kind of stuff, and open doors for ladies. They appreciate it. There's no reason to not be chivalrous to somebody. It's called being polite, right? And well, let's see. I'm sure you guys all appreciate it. Let's see. A counterpoint. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much.
All right, this is going to be a tough one to beat. Is chivalry dead? Aaron?
Chivalry's dead. Not that being polite is dead. However, chivalry kind of marginalizes our ability to be attentive, because it provides several definite things that I must do. Some girls don't like you to open every door. Some girls don't like being objectified and being this little prissy princess. So, chivalry is dead because it's no longer about chivalry. It's about being attentive. It's about being respectful, and it's about knowing your audience and being emotionally intelligent. That doesn't always call for the traditional chivalry. Sometimes I'd like to take on a few things and cook and do some of the other things that are separate than from just shoveling out money, as my as my opponent so said. While chivalry is dead, being a gentleman is about adaptation. It is very difficult to adapt when you're stuck to a rule of chivalry that was made prior to the internet.
All right, that will bring a close to the second part of our table topics discussion. So if I could have the timers swap out and rearrange. I'll start talking about the third and final part. Yes?
On the voting, do we vote for the more advanced? It doesn't matter who.
It doesn't matter who you vote